Hi everyone, welcome back to Dudley Central. It's been a long time since I did a YouTube video, but I just really wanted to get the layout back onto YouTube and just show you what I've been up to these last couple of months or even years. The big thing for me this year has been my modular layout project New Street, which recently won the Pico Rail 200 competition. I'll show you that very shortly. So the actual Dudley Central layout has not had an entire amount done over the last maybe 9 to 12 months. Followers of my Instagram and Facebook will be seeing regular shots of the layout, but there's nothing significant that's been done for quite some time. But I do hope getting back onto YouTube, and now that the Pico competition has finished, that the main layout will start to get some love again. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the layout, I'll give you a little bit of a tour just to introduce you. Perhaps you're a new viewer and you've not seen my layout before. So yeah, this is the station area, which is probably the most photographed and videoed section on the layout. And as you can probably guess from the stock on my layout, there's a lot of regional railways and early privatisation units. So my layout is pretty much based on the West Midlands in that sort of late 90s, early 2000s period, where the old BR liveries were still clinging around, and then you had Virgin trains and Central trains sweeping it up in their vibrant liveries. So what we've got here is this sort of end of a station disappearing beneath a built-up area. What I've got is a shopping centre which is full of buses. The cliche of a bus on the bridge is well overdone here. If I just take you up. So what I've got is the Kingsway shopping centre, and then I've kind of got a bus sort of station area in front of it with a little roundabout. Buses can come back out. Kind of entrance down to the station is here. And what we've got is a 1960s building which serves the main station. This is the kind of car park here. And then obviously you've got the station there. So what I have, and sometimes I get a comment on Instagram, is how I run my trains. So what I have is platform 1 here, which is a bay platform. This is the nearest to the station, so that's why it's numbered platform 1. So this kind of train can come in off here and then come back on to this line over there. So in theory, where the class 117 is, that is a kind of secondary line. So you've got those trains going that way, and then the opposing service coming this way. And then on the far side, I've got the express lines, which is from the main line, which will be going that way, and then over there, over this way. Now you might be thinking, there won't be any trains coming along here at the minute. And that's very true. So I did have a line that was here. And what I was having happen was that the trains, particularly the Mark III stock, was catching on the corner of the platform. This happened because this part of the layout is probably the oldest part of the station. And about a year or so ago, I actually changed the platforms. I got these, Bunter's Yard. Yep, so these are Bunter's Yard platforms, and they really do look fantastic. The detail on them is really good. But they were ever so slightly wider than what was there before. And so what was happening was I had coaches just clipping it on the corners. And it was causing the odd derailment here and there. So the plan is that I've ripped up this line. It will get relayed in a more suitable position where it's not clashing. These two have to stay because of how the point works, all wired in just here in front of the camera. So eventually what I will do is a similar exercise on this side here, where I'll just nudge it out ever so slightly. This left hand side, strangely, isn't as affected. It is tight, but that's why I've kicked off on the platform 5 mainline side for now. So the next few months, the focus really is going to be just making sure this area works nice and fluently without any issues. So just moving on to the sort of station throat, as it were. So this section here is probably the only section that remains from the original layout within my garage from a few years ago. So it has been something I've been really wanting to keep. So the signal box and the castle are the original elements, and the track as well. The section behind is reasonably new. You can see I've added some block of flats there. I think I may add another of the same style and put that possibly there. But that whole scene really needs some work because the bare plywood at the moment looks a bit rubbish when I'm filming at the moment. But hopefully you can see that it kind of has that kind of 90s, early 2000s feel. I'll probably think of doing something then to blend it in so it's not sudden from a 1960s block of flats to the castle, whether that's with some trees or a bit of a hill, some terrain. Again, it's something I've not quite figured out so far. Moving on to the depot area. This area is one of my favourites, but it's not seen a lot of love recently, and a lot of the wiring underneath has just gotten tangled and torn, so a lot of the lights have stopped working. So that is something I need to work on. Again, these are areas I think I could do even better with detailing. I've got some of the basics, like speed signs, and I mean, actually that is about it. I need to have a look at doing some other detailing. Rusty Rails is someone who I really like the stuff that they do, so it might be something I will have a look at some point. But again, similar to the station, it's a similar theme. I just need to get this area working well. Again, a lot of it is to do with electrics, so stuff that you probably won't see. The DMU yard, again, it's that was an area I did some work on. It's primarily to service class 150s. I put some inspection pits under there, but again, it's all very clean. It's devoid of any detail, to be honest with you. So again, there's quite a lot of stuff I can add to this scene to make it look a lot better. So if you're now looking down where the junction is, you can see there's quite a lot of point work here, and none of it's ballasted. It's all wired up, but again, it's something I need to work on, particularly this curve here. There's just some bumps and joints that just need fixing. Again, it's just to make it all run a little bit better. I don't have any serious problems on this stretch, but again, I just want to be absolutely certain. One thing I will be changing is the OLE here. What I do get is sometimes a train which has a nose that points out, clips this OLE and knocks it all down. So I'm going to change that to a portal which spans all the tracks. Again, I just need to figure out how to do that, because in theory you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks potentially to span there. So yeah, that needs a bit of thought. this is the back scene, and over here, this siding, 2 Class 47s and a 92. Predominantly, this is going to be for electric locos, because that is the electrified section of the layout. The back scene looks a bit poor at the moment. These are just some low relief buildings I have. Again, I think I can do something better than what I've got there. I think I might also look at trying to get a photographic back scene sorted. Again, just to make the layout pop a bit more. Yeah. So this is now looking towards the other end of the layout now, and what you can see is the two GNER trains. So on the left is the Class 89 with Mark 4s. Now that is on the electrified main line, and the HST, which is on the right, is taking the sort of secondary line for whatever reason. Now this is one of my favourite areas, as it shows how the two lines kind of diverge. Again, that was something I really wanted to get into the layout. Just something a bit different. I don't think it's something that's done particularly often, where a 4-track line diverges like this. On the left, I've got the Metcalfe warehouse. I do quite like this building, and I think that probably will stay. What I've not quite figured out, though, is how the scene to the right of it blends. So I've got the PJM tunnel portal, which really does look the part there, and the viaduct, and at the back, as I say, I just cannot figure out how to make that scene work. It's been like this for years now. I've kind of put a bit of plasticard in just to represent the bridge girder. Again, it's just one of those awkward little corners where I can't quite figure out what I'm doing with it yet. Probably why it stayed untouched. Some other bits, again, this grass looks reasonable, but it has sort of got contaminated with ballast here and there, so I just need to give it all a good clean, and again, just some TLC. And then looking that way, one of the things that stands out is the cable troughing. So I got this sort of cheap 3D printed cable troughing off eBay, and you can see it's just really warped. It looks doesn't look very good anymore, so I'll be changing that. Looking on the secondary line, so what I've got here is almost like a reception line for the depot. So the idea is that trains come in from that direction, they come into here, and then they can come back out, well, back into the depot. Again, I think I might put some sort of shunters building in here. But there's a lot of detailing that I need to do in this section, particularly with sort of signalling and cables and just various other bits of detail. So yeah, looking again the other direction now, the canal, it's not really moved on at all, and it's just collected loads of rubbish. Whether I leave that rubbish in is another question. But I do kind of want to finish all the works around it, particularly doing like the white lining on the roads, just so I don't get any spray going into the canal, and finishing the brickwork as well. So there's quite a bit that needs to happen in here, but I think it will come out quite well in the end. Going to the top, this was going to be the bus garage area, and it is just a total mess at the moment. As you can see, I've just plonked every single bus that I have. And also the crooked house building, which is hiding in behind there. Again, I think what I might do is I need to civilise all this, make it look reasonable, and I might get the crooked house perhaps to sit above the tunnel portal, or try and find somewhere a bit more suitable for it. So that you can see there's quite a lot of work that I need to crack on with. Again, mainly focused on just making sure the layout runs as well as I want it to. and then I will crack on then with the scenery. It was really good just to be able to share this all with you in a sort of YouTube video format again. I will follow up this video with a special one on my diorama of Birmingham New Street. I know quite a few people are keen to see that, and I want to tell you how I've done that. But for now, I hope you like what you see, and feel free to leave a comment, and all the best, and of course, Merry Christmas. Thank you, and bye.